Hi, I'm John Cushing. I know you guys are a business, and I don't fault you for having to balance your books. But for what it's worth, I would much rather have a shorter ski season than fewer days in midweek for the last part of the year. Last year, April, as you know, was one of the best powder seasons we've ever had. Now, maybe that won't happen this year. But I'd rather have that time in April, 5 days a week, than some pretty bad days towards the end of May, just for the sake of skiing a few days longer. And I say that as someone who's up there 62 days last year, and 1.5 million vertical feet. I love skiing at Mount Bachelor. I want to see you succeed, but I don't think you've made a smart choice about how to solve this revenue problem. And I think you might have made a smarter choice if you had asked people what they thought they would prefer.
Thanks. That's a really good point. And that's something that, you know, we've talked a lot about, because I'm learning. You know, this is my 4th season here. I'd never been to this part of the world until I started looking at this as a potential place to come live and work. And it's unique. And, you know, I spent a lot of time with Tom Lomax trying to understand, you know, what more could we do, and what's the best way to do it, and what's the best season setup. And when you look at the variability of the weather, like, it's been more winter in April and May than it has been in December a lot of years. So, I mean, that is a great question you just asked, and I'm struggling with it myself on what the right way to go is. We've been trying to modify things when we feel like we can. It's going to be an ongoing challenge.
Larry, how are you?
Good.
I thought about the answer you gave me when we spoke 2 weeks ago, and I came to terms with it, but I can't accept it. I didn't want to see Mount Bachelor flying the national flag. I want to see the colors up there. As an immigrant and being on international foreign, it upsets me. And I'd very much like a favor, please fly the flag. That's all.
Thanks.
Hello, my name is Chris, and this is about the parking lot plowing issue. I mean, I know this year has been a big issue with that. And mine specifically is with the disabled parking, and especially Upper Sunrise. I'm missing my leg, and for the last 3.5+ weeks, I've been asking, because you guys have snow past the disabled parking, and I've talked to the volunteer host, parking lot manager. A week ago was one of the top ski patrol guys said, like, well, maybe he has some pull, and he said he put in a request for you guys to do some sort of plowing. I mean, and I took a picture yesterday. I mean, it is so bad, and nobody will respond with the answer. And I even actually put in at the West Village a signed complaint, and I still haven't heard back from it. So.
Well, I mean, I think that's one that I'm looking over at Tom, because we talk a lot about this. What has been happening this year is when we go out and we plow, you know, our crew comes in around 10 o'clock at night. They have been getting, like, I can't remember which night it was. Was it last Friday night, or it was a night recently where the West Village parking lot, as the example, was completely clear at 2 a.m. and then it started dumping. And when you start trying to clear, that parking lot alone is like 25 acres. You can't just clear it from the time you start up again until the time people start showing up. You're going to have accumulated snow and not be able to get back at it.
Okay.
And now on the Sunrise side, we've been having a big struggle over there with snow removal because of the banks getting the way they are, to having to go in and try to clear, usually right before people arrive, to get some of that snow out of the way, and it's causing the burning. And I think that's probably what has been causing
No,
the
there's
biggest
this
problem?
pile of snow that should be taken care of. I mean, I offered yesterday to take a snow shovel and do it myself, and the parking maintenance guy said, no, the plow will take care of it. And it's been an issue for over 3.5 weeks.
It won't be starting tomorrow.
Okay, I do appreciate that. And I mean, I can show you pictures of how, to me...
I've been clearing the handicap signs myself on some mornings because the plow, or the parking guys typically do that, and they've been up to their ears dealing with cars getting stuck. We had cars stuck yesterday at the Sunrise entrance, getting eye-centered when the ODOT plows come by. So we're trying to talk to them so we can time when we get there right after they're doing their double plow. They're putting a 3-foot berm right in front of Sunrise and the exit to Skyliner.
And a lot of that is the snow plow, how they made a ramp like that. They cut the parking lot there where they used to, it's never been like that.
I prefer these problems than the problems we were having in December.
Sure, no, I understand.
And we did the wink and the nod.
But when you ask people and they say they're going to take care of it, or talk, the parking lot manager, they say they're going to take care of it, and it's not taken care of week after week after week, that's unacceptable as a councilman.
I hear it.
I'm Jim. Last Friday I had a kind of disturbing experience up there. Been a former employee, a long-time pass holder. Darn good day Friday. Wasn't icy, wasn't too windy. Seemed like a day that Northwest could have been open on time. The mob was kind of building and tension was building. We weren't getting very good communication from lift staff or ski patrol. When ski patrol did make the motion down to the signs without communicating to the little mob that was building, it seemed, the normal routine is they turn the sign and everybody goes and everybody hoots and hollers. But that wasn't the case. They were actually moving the sign a little further to the middle to say it was closed. There was a little tension building, and the ski patroller at that moment told us that the owner was tired of this and you guys ruined it. So those two comments have still been burning in my mind, and I want to know if you can tell me what the owner is tired of and what have we, the customers, ruined.
I have no idea. I mean, I talked at length with the owner. He never said such a thing. Quite frankly, I think that maybe that patroller was expressing his own opinion. And we talk about what we expect in terms of guest interactions. I've had to go back to that after my failings recently and reiterate that. So, I mean, that's not the way we roll. That's not what is expected. And if you have more information on where this happened on Friday, maybe we can have a conversation with whomever might have been there. But that's not what we intend to do. I've made it a bit more challenging because of what I did, which was wrong. But there's a teachable moment, hopefully, in all of that.
Brian Sloper, just got off work, so I didn't hear the opening comments, but I have a comment I'd like to make. I'm in the hospitality industry, along with the majority of people in Central Oregon, and my days off happen to be on Monday and Tuesday. So in the springtime, me and all our friends would like to go up, sit on the deck, have some beers, spend some money. Obviously I can't do that on the days I work. So I just wanted to express my feelings about you guys closing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I know you guys took a hit on business this year, but I don't think it's fair to everybody in the hospitality industry that have those days off. Also, I'd like to comment a couple years ago when I hiked out of Northwest when it broke down. It's about an hour hike out. Got a free lift ticket when I got to the bottom of Outback. So I didn't read the fine print on the ticket. I had a brother in town from Korea, my mom in town. Like, well, let's go up to Bachelor, do some sightseeing. I got my season pass. I got a voucher. I'll buy one ticket, we'll go up and have lunch. I get to the counter, they're like, oh, yeah, that's expired. That was only good through the end of the year. So, okay, so I hiked out of Northwest for a pass that you're not going to let me use. I'm going to go up and spend some money on lunch. So we ended up going to Elk Lake instead. Just want to share that with you. And I hope you guys reconsider being open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
Thanks for that.
Hi, my name's Sherry, and we all want Mount Bachelor to succeed. Mount Bachelor and Bend are inextricably together in all this, so we want them both to succeed. And I know when it comes April and May, mostly you've made your money out of us. You've sold the season passes, and we're the people who are still skiing. It's not a lot of other people. But what are you doing to attract other people? People in Europe don't even know Mount Bachelor exists. There's people all over the world who would come here, I think, in April and May to experience what we have here. And I think you need to try and capture some of that audience, and that would be able to help you make more money in those months so that maybe you would be successful during that time. We have a better season than almost any place in the world. So I think you should try and capture that.
Thank you. I'll give you a quick overview. When you look at the marketing resources that we have, we focus most of those going into our core markets, which we define as Seattle and Northern California. We do work with quite a few tour operators, so that's typically how we try to break into a new destination market. So working with an international tour operator is how we get some promotion. A lot of Europeans book through tour operators, and that's where a lot of the marketing ends up happening. We work with COVA and also Travel Oregon to try to get us into different places that we couldn't afford to go on our own. So it is happening. I think, if I'm not mistaken, our international visits are up this year. So, and they're coming primarily from?
Australia.
It's lumped in.
I'd like to piggyback onto that real quick. Are you guys running ads down in Colorado offering people to come up here? Because there's a lot of Copper Mountain ads running right now.
And anybody in the room in the media buying business? Anybody know anything about advertising or media buying? You know, I worked at Copper Mountain for 10 years. I was the marketing
work for HRWest, so
marketing and sales guy. One of my best friends took my job after I left there, and as soon as I saw that, I called and said, "Jesse, what in the world are you doing?" And he said, "Dude, they just threw all of this cable stuff at us." So basically it's a run of station type situation where as a value add to any kind of media buy you do, that cable companies typically will throw in markets saying that, oh, you're getting all this extra exposure in this other market. You know, that's what we're giving you for value add. So I tried to get them to pull it, but it was few. So that's why you're seeing that. It makes absolutely no sense. They're not getting any business from here. Quite frankly, I'm trying to steal all of their season pass holders to come here in the spring. So they're closing after April 15th. Breckenridge, Colorado just announced they're going to extend for 1 week. They're going to close on April 22nd.
How's it going? My name's Kyle. What I want to say is I'm really happy to see this turnout here, both from the locals and from Bachelor, because what I see at the mountain is a lot of negativity these days, and that's on both sides. It's not from just the management, and I think they do a great job, and it's not from just the locals because they think they're the locals and they own everything. I think it's very easy though for management and employees to get defensive, put up fences, and try to defend yourselves, which you should, but I also think it's easy for locals to say, hey, we're not getting our fair share. What I kind of want to know though is, does Powder see all this going on? Are they aware of this negativity that's surrounding our mountain right now? And should there be some more, I don't know, maybe a reevaluation of how they run things given our certain set of circumstances here? It's a great mountain, and I think we can work something out, and I think things like this are very important and we should do more of them, but I want to make sure that the company who owns the mountain is getting involved too, to make sure that we can have the best mountain we can.
Agreed. So, let's see. I'm drawing a blank now all of a sudden. So, first part is the negativity, or?
Well, it's not really a question. I mean, I'm just proud that everybody came out and we're actually talking about this, because sitting at home on Facebook is retarded and doesn't get anything. But more than anything, I mean, does John Cummings know that we're having this meeting right now?
So much so that he asked me to call him as soon as we're done.
That's perfect. And I mean, that's awesome. And I would say have more of them, because that's the way word gets out on what you guys are actually.
Good evening, Dave. So an anecdote was brought up earlier tonight, and I just felt compelled to mention another one. I'm sure you're familiar with Ford Motor Company and the Pinto, and the issue it had with exploding. And so Ford crunched some numbers, and they're like, okay, it's gonna, estimate about this much in settlements in court, and it would cost about this much to replace the fixed engines. And well, the figure to just repair everybody's engines and gas tank was a little bit more expensive than it was just to pay the lawyers and the court fees. So Ford made the classic decision to go with the court fees, and they did not factor in the cost of lost respect and loss of trust in Ford Motor Company. And the only further statement I need to make is look at Detroit today.
And I worked for a guy that at Killington, when I was there, said, and actually this guy still had an ownership stake in American Skiing Company, and we were trying to figure out how to deal with our aging snowmaking infrastructure. A lot of pipe had holes in it, and we were pumping thousands of gallons of water out of the pipe instead of through snowmaking guns. And rather than replace the pipe, he actually suggested that we just invest in more pumps, because we could pump more water through, the same amount's going to pour out of the holes, but you're going to be able to force more water through to the snow guns. That guy got booted out of that company, and I think he's selling wood stoves in Maine right now. So I hear you. Unintended consequences, the things that we talk about, and God, I hope we didn't make a big mistake here, but we tried to do what we thought was going to have the positive impact on the company with the least amount of impact on our guests. We knew we were going to make some impacts on our guests, but if you look at the alternatives, going to May 27th, we think is who we are. So, I mean, that's why we did what we did, and I hear you on the case study.
Okay.
We don't want to be that.
Could I have a suggestion?
Sure.
What if we had Sunrise open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Close Rainbow, close Pine Martin, close Northwest. I don't care. Give us Skyliner, give us Sunrise. At least those of us, like myself, that typically have Monday, Tuesday off, can go in and get some turns and not work.
And we talked about we talked about reducing lifts and services and changing back to the old way. And when you look at what was needed to be accomplished, the only way you get there is deal with our largest single expense, and that is labor. Unless you stop doing something, you'll never get the full impact. So there it is, That's how in 12 days in May you can make an impact. You close. And that's
cut labor on Friday, Saturday, Sunday on other parts of the mountain, but just something to give the locals that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday an opportunity to ride.
If we thought that was, I know I'm here.